This is the page you will see. Now I want you to notice that every page has a synopsis which tells you what is going to happen. This synopsis mentions the book of David and tells you how you can find me if you need to. Let's close this and have a brief look at the page which tells you about certain things that might interest you. But the important thing is we're going to register. Again, the synopsis, we turn it off and let's register. Our username is going to be Brian. First name, for sake of easiness, Brian. Second name, Brian. Email address, brian@brian.com, and it will come as no surprise to you that we've used Brian as the password. How old am I? Unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm 75. We're going to register. Before we do, notice we use cookies. If you are not using a cookie, you will be told how to employ them. On registering, you will receive an email. If you do not receive that, check your spam mail. Okay, we're ready. Let's register. There you see it's registered and we're on to the new page. And it tells you, Brian, read this carefully. Now we're going to do a one-time assessment. Start your assessment. Watch what happens. I have never planned suicide, or I have planned suicide. Answer honestly. I haven't. I have never been hospitalized in a psychiatric unit. I have been. If you have been, any of these questions you answer positively, you won't be allowed in. I have never had delusions or hallucinations. If you have, you won't be allowed in. I have never physically attacked anybody. We want to be careful that you can control yourself. Okay. And here it says that you've completed the test and we're going to go on to the next part of your assessment. Okay. I'm now asking you, what is your general mood? What makes you happy? What makes me happy? Leeds United winning. Oh. Notice that every time you answer a question and you start answering another one, it disappears. In general, what makes you happy? Winning. Do you notice? The thing has disappeared. You also notice I don't know how to type. What made you happy this week? Very little. What causes you to lose sleep? Almost nothing. Corona. What makes you critically angry? Not being appreciated. I'm angry this week. Someone coughed on me. What makes you feel insulted? Pushing the queue. Ignoring me. This week, this strange one, the way politicians behave. Now the most important thing, what have you learnt about yourself? Wiley. This is asking you, what do you know about yourself? Now what you can say about me is I'm crazy about Leeds United, I'm easily insulted, and I'm very involved in what's going on around me, but not too involved with people too close to me. So let's say I wrote that in. And now we're going to do something very interesting. You press your results to proceed. And here you see a summation of what you've said. It simply tells you what you said, and you look at it again and you think, this is me. Let's stop now before we go to the next. Okay, we have here the first example. It's so important that you see this. We are all the time summarizing what you're doing and you're getting feedback. At this point, I'm not asking you to use the feedback. I want you to get used to the idea. We're now going into the module. Again, we see the synopsis page and we're going to talk about general aspects. This should take you a few days to get through it. Take it seriously because it really is the basis of mental health. We're talking about two key concepts. The automatic pilot who is controlling things that you just do not realize he's doing, or maybe she. And relapses. Relapses are something are going to happen. You will go through phases. Now look again, here we see something very basic to the site. We explain everything to you. When we're talking about relapses, we're talking about stages of learning which goes through understanding, learning, using, familiarity, stopping. Stopping is inevitable. And restarting. Now we're going to look at that very carefully. Try and understand this is what's going to happen to you. Now let's acquire essential behaviour. This is going to take some time. It's going to take a few days, if not more. Let's look at it. Again, the synopsis. I want you to go slowly through it. It tells you what's going to be done, and then we do it. The first thing is muscle tension, relaxation. Relaxation is essential, and you have to learn it. The first part is you learn how to do muscle tension. We're telling you how to do this. Read it closely. We're telling you how to use guided fantasies. How you do this too. I'm going through it quickly. You go through it very slowly. And then we finally teach you how to do stealth relaxation. Read it. It's quite simple. Deceptively simple. But like all simple things, it's hard to do as a habit. You have to practice and remember that you will be going through the stages of acquiring and losing. Let's look at some more ways of reducing tension. Again, the synopsis page, telling you briefly what's going to do. Exercise regularly, yoga, something which I adore, time management, which is essential. But it's a very simple way of telling you how to do it. People cannot produce time, but they act as if they can. Eating and dieting. We give you a very brief but easy to follow diet, which you won't put weight on again, but you will relapse, because in every diet, as in everything else, including this program, you relapse, but you'll go back. Now we come to the key part of the program, going head to head with the automatic pilot. Let's take a break. So let's meet the automatic pilot. Again, the synopsis, which you should read, but we're going to remove it. And we are going to start the basic of the therapy, online therapy, and that is the basic incident. Something went wrong. We're going to write as such what it is, when did it happen, where, why. Do not give explanations, just describe. Let's open the form and I'll show you an example. Write 3 short sentences. I was driving in my car and was cut off. I was annoyed and wanted to hit the driver. Let's insert this. Watch what happens. Now you see you have the critical incident written for you. If this was your second time through, you would be able to look back and see what your previous ones were. But we're going on to the next module, and the next module is going to show you something about how you think. Again, we're going to see the cognitive aspects, and we're going to see the synopsis, and we're going to take it down. Now look at the terms that we're using. Specific thoughts about yourself. We'll see three things that come back at the time. Were you aware at the time? I always do this. You have to hit it right on the nose of the arrow. We were at the time. How true and relevant is it? Was it true? And if it was, so what? And what did you learn about yourself? Now let's see how we apply that. Again, we see a form to fill in. At the time when I was crossed by this driver, what did I think about myself? I am a fool for letting him do that. Okay. Thought about the others. He took advantage. What does this mean about you in general? I give in. I am a patsy. What does it say about others? They take advantage. Always. Were you aware at the time? I was aware that it was completely inappropriate. What was the relevance to the way you did? None whatsoever. I am not a patsy. They are all not rude. And sometimes I do the same. What do I learn about myself? In reality, I was late, and I am a hypocrite. And also self-pitying and blame others. Now let's enter that. We'll correct that. Let's enter it and see what happens. You see, you get it all back. And if you have been there before, you can press and see what you said before, and you start seeing trends. You start seeing trends about how you are thinking at the time of pressure. This is what you're thinking. This is the basis of CBT. Let's stop for a minute and see where we go from here. So now we have seen how we are thinking without being aware that we're thinking. It's as if the automatic pilot is doing the thinking for us and we're reacting. Let's go on and see some more. Again, the synopsis, and now we're talking about the way we behave. Okay, we've read that. Let's close it. We're going to talk about the concepts we're using. Look at them, press at the top, at the nose of the arrow, go through and see the different things that we might be doing, or one of us might be doing, in a relationship between two or more people. We're asking questions. Read this carefully and slowly, and remember, it'll take a couple of times till you really feel comfortable. Doesn't matter. Again, aware at the time, and truth and relevance. How true is this, and how relevant is it to what was happening? And finally, waylay. What did you learn about yourself? Let's evaluate the critical moment, and here you see it again. I was driving in my car, badly written, and was cut off. Let's go on and see the questions. Was one of you behaving like a parent? Neither of us. Was one of you behaving like an adult? Neither of us. Both of us. Now this is a pretty easy thing to talk about cyclic relationships. With cyclic relationships, dealing with people not in this particular case. Cyclic relationships, read about it. It's about what you do when you're in a long-term relationship, which is neither good nor bad. It's always ups and downs. So let's put in here, not relevant. Simple enough. Were you maintaining the situation? Yes, because I was agitating him and he was agitating me. Yes. We agitated each other. Okay. Were you aware at the time? No, I wasn't. Vaguely. But it didn't help, did it? Was it related to the way you were behaving? Was it behaving? And the answer is no. It didn't make me earlier or later. And I was late. What have you learned about yourself? I get easily annoyed and do not control my anger. Now we're going to submit your answer. Again, we come and you see your answer. The trends are coming back. That isn't very useful. Anyway, here you see it, and when you have more than one answer, you can go back and look at them, and you see very quickly, and you'll be surprised that you're behaving in a very strange way. In fact, you aren't behaving. The automatic pilot is behaving this way. You're not aware of what's going on most of the time. But let's go on to the next subject, next module, okay? And here we have the final part of the way we were behaving, one of the aspects of the way we were behaving. Let's go on and look at another one and see what the automatic pilot is doing, and we're not really aware, if at all. The synopsis is telling us what's happening, and these terms, we're going through the concepts and terms used. There are a lot of them here, and I want you to read them. There are things that you are not aware of, terms that you will learn as you go along, but you will see immediately how relevant they are to what you're doing. Again, we come to truth and relevance, and what did you learn at the time. The critical moment, and we're pressed to proceed. I'm going to answer this very quickly. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, yes. I was at some. I know that I use the USB a lot. That should be here. How relevant was it at the time? It had almost no relevance. No. I was busy with myself. Were you aware at the time? I am almost completely ignoring the other guy and waiting for him to finish. I'm not listening. Let's save this. And again you see all the things coming up. Remember, it's going to be difficult for you to remember all the things. That's why you have to go through it a couple of times. You have to go through the explanation slowly. And again, you will see after more than one use that you can see what you're doing, and you will see trends. This is the important thing. You're not aware of what you're doing. The pilot is, but you aren't. And you are very often, and this is a very difficult thing to realize, you're not listening. The other person is there for you to respond to them. But in actual fact, you're responding to yourself, as you will see in a few minutes. So we've seen here how we are behaving as we are supposed to be listening to the other person. In actual fact, our automatic pilot is barely paying any attention. There are so many different ways of doing it. You will learn them slowly as you go through the site. This is not a quickie. It's going to take you at least a week to really understand what you're doing and internalize it. Eventually, you'll be able to do a critical moment and run through it in, say, about 20 minutes. And then you'll see the traits and trends. Let's go on. Again, you will see the synopsis. This, in my opinion, is the hardest part to do, to internalize it. Let's look at the content and choose. We want you to recognize and be aware of different feelings and be aware of the fact that the arrow is very temperamental. But look, we're going to talk, we want you to recognize feelings. Were you aware of the time? A new point, were you containing it? Did you act out to get rid of that feeling, or were you aware of the feeling and used it to orientate your future actions? This is the most important part of the modules. Here you are very unaware of what you're feeling, and when you become aware of what you're feeling, it becomes very difficult for a few days because you seem to be overwhelmed by feelings. Again, truth and relevance, and again, what did you learn about yourself? Let's do this a little bit slower. Were you angry? Look back. You may realize that you were. Were you sad? No. Was there a sense of doom? No. Did you feel fear? Yes. I thought he was going to hit me. Were you lonely? Yes, strangely. Did you feel empty? No. Did you feel happy? No. Did you feel a sense of contentment? No. Did you feel a sense of excitement? No. Did you feel abandoned and alone? Yes, strangely I did. Were you aware at the time? No. Did you act on your feelings? Seemingly. I did. Was there any relevance? None. Whatsoever. There is a lot going on that I am unaware of. I explode. There you have it. It's a very difficult course. This is a very difficult module. And here you see the answers. And again, it's mainly yes and no, because I want you to become aware of the feelings. When you do, you will be able to go backwards and forwards and see how often the same feelings are coming through and how you're running away from them and acting out because you're not containing them. I wrote here, seemingly I did, seemingly I didn't. But this is a very hard module to do. As I say, you will get a sense of suddenly you're feeling everything, because before you were pushing it away and running it away, and now the automatic pilot is being recalibrated. You're seeing what you're feeling. Let's leave it at that. I can't emphasize how hard this section that we're leaving is. You will feel flooded with emotions. Don't be alarmed, they will pass very quickly, and you will be aware at the time that I was angry, I was sad, I felt doom, whatever, and then you will start to be able to control your feelings instead of running away from them and acting out. Let's go to the final module. Again, the review, the overview, and I say things here that may surprise you. Read them slowly. Let's go on. This is the final meeting with the pilot, and here are the explanations. Again, we try and press on the nose. What was the right thing to do? What was the selfish thing to do? What was the good thing to do? What are you going to do? And for the first time, I'm asking you, think back how you were acting and behaving when the automatic pilot was taken away. Is it really to do with what you were doing? You remember we were asking all the time, relevance, relevance, relevance. And now you can ask yourself, is it tied to something else? Here you have the relevance again, and aware. Read this through carefully and go to the questions. What was the expected behavior? To calm down. What was the selfish, what did you want to do? Kill the guy. What was the noble thing to do? To wave him through. What will you do in the future? Wave him through. And get up in time, and if I am late to come, were you aware of these thoughts? No. Is it related to the critical moment? No. Is your history involved? Yes. My dad always bullied me to be on time. And be a gentleman. Can't even spell it. What have you learnt about yourself? Dad was right about one thing, but no one bullies me. Me anymore. And we're going to save it. These are hard questions to ask yourself, and you have to be honest here, very quick and honest, and you will see here at this point what you're going to do. Some of the decisions will be long term, but you will become more aware. Relevance, I don't know, but you will start seeing things from the past. It's not central that you do. The important thing is what is the things to do and what you're going to do, what you're going to decide. And now we come to the final part of the whole set of modules. So let's take a break. And here you have the last set of questions in the module. And we're going now to summarize the summaries. Let's see what we're doing. Again, the accumulated results. Again, you're going to be asked to read the synopsis, press at the side, and here you see something different. There's no explanation. You go through each module and you see what you've done. let's press all your critical moments. So press it, and you see, you can go through what you were talking about. Let's press the temperamental nose, cognitive aspects, what we were thinking. Again, you can see all that you've said about yourself that the automatic pilot was leading you astray with. We go on, your behaviour aspects. Again, can you see it? And you will be able to go through each one backwards in time, seeing what you were doing. Again, the temperamental nose, what were you doing with other people? Close this. Your feelings, all your emotional aspects. Again, you can go backwards and forwards through this, seeing trends and traits again. And finally, all your summaries. And you see again a list. And there you have it. It's quite intensive. It takes some time to get a hang of it. But you can get a very, very good insight into what you're doing and be aware eventually of what you're doing, and automatically you are reprogramming the automatic pilot, and you will become less stressed. Remember that this module is accompanied by all the means of reducing stress we showed you at the very beginning. That's it. Use it for free, use it often, and if you want, you can tell your friends about it too. Thank you very much for listening.